Hello, everyone. This is Jamie Lewis, and we are going to be revealing something that is going to blow your mind today. If you're looking to make your online business just explode on the internet, hopefully bring in 7, even 8 figures, you're going to want to listen to this. All right. This strategy we're going to be talking today is called the Effort Killer, and it's brand new for 2017 and on. So for the first time, we're going to be talking about these strategies, and we're going to make it very easy and simple for you to understand. So make sure to get ready to see something you've never, ever seen before in the world of online business and internet marketing. Sound good? So as you know, we're here on the live webinar, and you can access the questions box at any moment, but we would recommend that you wait a little bit until the end of the webinar for the Q&A, as we will be answering questions. And we also would like to remind you that the webinar is going to be pretty packed, pretty full. Just to ensure that you keep your seat on this webinar, please don't leave, don't go anywhere, all right? And I would definitely shut the door to the room that you're in. Make sure that you have your glass of water or a cup of coffee or whatever it is that you like to watch webinars with. And let's get ready to roll. Just the same way as if we were in a space shuttle and there's no way out, baby. We're doing this right now. All right? So let's get started, okay? Our goal is to show you everything that you need to know right now, okay? And if you stay until the end, we're going to make sure that you get something that definitely competes with any online college or anything that you've seen in the past. And what makes this a lot different than things that you've probably seen before is that I would call us the Montessori school of online business. This is organically done. There isn't any synthetics here. And as you know, you're probably tired of all the false promises out there, and you're probably sick to death of hearing gurus tell you how terrible your life is and how terrible their life was, and now their life is amazing and your life is still terrible, etc. And that's not really what we do here. Everybody has the power within themselves to become an online rock star, like what you've seen a lot of the time in my videos. So I'd like to, for the people who haven't been here before, I'd like to just get into a little bit about what I'm about. Of course, you know, my name's Jamie Lewis. I've been doing this since 2004. That's me sitting there in my first sports car I ever bought. It's when I still had hair. And I've done over $14 million in online revenue. And I'm going to show you what sets a solid foundation, okay? A foundation is the most important thing to your business, you know, basically what your business is built on. And I'm actually going to show you the shortcuts that actually work, and these are all brand new shortcuts. They're like the type of thing where, you know, it's a little quick detour around all of the hard, difficult things that really get in the way of your positive momentum, okay? The momentum is so important. And so you're not going to get stuck on the launch wheel. You know, you're not like going to end up like that rodent that just circles that little circular toy thing. What is that called? I forget. But you know, you're not going to have to do things over and over and over again, just spinning your wheels and grinding, and just you're like, oh my God, I've been doing the same thing and it's not working. I'm going to try this. Now I'm in that same predicament. And so that's what this webinar is going to do for you. I'm like the doctor, all right? And I'm going to give you that momentum for your online business so that you never spin your wheels again. So look, after I've done this for about 12 years, I have been your guinea pig, so to speak. I've tested and I've tweaked and I've been in the lab like a mad scientist trying out everything, and some stuff works, some stuff doesn't work. And so when I come on these webinars and I see you guys doing some of the things that I tried a long time ago that didn't work, I let you know. I say, stop doing that. And then the stuff that did work for me, I really try to drive those things home. You know, the same basics that worked 12 years ago, they still do work today. Although we have great technology nowadays, guys, we really are doing the same types of tasks and the same type of time frame, etc. You know, I've done a lot of the hard stuff, but, you know, I've discovered the easier stuff, and I'm going to show you that. And I'll tell you one thing right now. The people in the community, these experts, the people were doing it longer than I had been doing it, and they were the guinea pigs. They handed that awesome knowledge down to me, and so therefore I'd like to just really reiterate, getting a mentor is one of the best things that I ever did, and one of the best things that you should be doing. All right, so here we are. Consider me your mentor and consider me your doctor. And we are going to really just jump right into it right now. And I'd really like to introduce somebody who is just, I would say, one of the biggest internet rock stars on the planet. You probably heard of him. I'm very lucky to have him here on this webinar with me. His name is Richie Nolan. And Richie, if you're there and you're listening, could you come on and say a few words and say hello to everybody?
Hey, how's it going? Richie here. Thank you very much, Jamie. Absolute pleasure to be on this webinar. I've been wanting to jump on with you, Jamie, for a very long time. So it's a real sort of privilege to be on here with you, with one of the absolute top mentors on the planet right now, and has been for many years. I know Jamie won't let me saying that, so apologies, Jamie. Thank you very much for having me. Just to give you a quick sort of introduction in terms of who I am and that kind of stuff. Been working with Jamie this year. I've actually generated it's actually 2.6 million in online sales since January 2014.
Wow.
I'm an international speaker. Yeah, pretty crazy. Yeah, really crazy. Even that figure, it doesn't seem real sometimes, because it was over a period of sort of 3.5 years.
Yeah.
And I've been lucky enough, I'm fortunate enough to become an international speaker and actually teach all over the world, creating multiple success stories. And I get to work with mentors like Jamie, who are at the absolute top of their game, people who are doing sort of 6-7 figures a year, and be a part of watch them create and develop major success stories, which is an absolute privilege. So I've got quite a good track record as an online marketing consultant, and I don't really teach too much anymore. More of a consultant for clients like Jamie, and only now work with people I really really believe in, and people who are creating amazing success stories. Just as a bit of fun there. In my first sort of year, the first company that I worked with online, I actually got this plaque. Congratulations on hitting your very first $1 million marketingwithyou.com. So it wasn't always like this, though. It wasn't always like this. I was a broke-ass actor for years and years. So you can see me there on the right. Doing a Shakespeare play. I went and studied Shakespeare, completely broke. Been in situations where I didn't have 60 pence to catch the bus to an audition at times. And sort of had £10 to last me 3 weeks, and like not more than broke, more than broke, living off bread and water. That on the left there was my very first feature film I ever did, fresh out of drama school. That's me there, 2016, I think that was. That was a movie called Across the Universe about the Beatles, but again, not really here to talk about me, just to really have a brief introduction. I'm part of Jamie's team, so we wanted to sort of give you a bit of a peek behind the scenes. The main reason I'm still in this industry is I love working with teachers and mentors who are motivated to teach the skills to embrace this internet lifestyle. You can work from home. You can literally work anywhere. I've got a very young family, so I can choose my own hours. I get to go to all the parents' evenings and not worry about it. I actually get to go to the cinema in the middle of the day and sort of look at all the hot mums that are frequenting the cinema. I was like traveling as well. I sort of travel the world. As long as you've got an internet connection and a laptop, with this business, you can work anywhere in the world. And I just wanted to sort of reiterate that point. But thanks for having me on, Jamie. I'm really excited about this webinar and looking forward to seeing where you take us.
Yeah, man, this is going to be like something no other, exists out there. And so, of course, there's doing things right, and of course, there's doing things wrong. And I'm glad that I did a whole bunch of things right, but I'm also glad that I had fooled around, meddled around with stuff that didn't do stuff. Wasn't the right way to do it, and now I know not to do those things anymore. So I continue to hit things out of the park all the time. Do it right, do it right, do it right, do it right, do it right. Now I've got my percentage game up to 100%, doing things right. So is pretty exciting when you know now you're not going to be spinning your wheels and wasting your time doing stuff. You know what I mean? So, look, what we want to do today is we want to basically, we're gonna understand that doing things the hard way, um, it's kind of, it's something that is you need to experience, but being able to kind of, I hate the word cheat, but that's the only word me and Richie could think up to explain it, and so with that little disclaimer there, man, we are going to show you how to cheat your way to success. Okay, these are shortcuts that are going to explode, and the reason of this is because you're going to have your own assets. All right, now let's talk about assets for a second. Those are their own assets. They always make more money and they have greater longevity in the internet marketing industry. Okay, the alternative is if you are without assets, right? Maybe you're just an internet marketer, affiliate marketer, but we're really going to talk about how to be the best internet marketer, the best affiliate marketer you can be, but at the same time, you're actually going to have a portfolio. You're actually going to have things that you own. All right. Even the top affiliate marketers are great at creating quick products, right? And so this is something that you need to learn how to do. And that's the only way that you can achieve assets is actually learning how to do it. Once you learn it, you got it. It's like muscle memory. All right. And every digital asset you create is a generator. Imagine having your own ATM in your room. Okay. That's the
Absolutely.
type of thing we're going at. All right.
I mean, this is an asset you can sell again and again and again and again and again, basically and it will last as long as the information's current and as long as there's a hungry marketplace for it.
Yeah.
And this is what the gurus don't teach you. This is what Jamie's really sort of trying to get across. The gurus don't want to teach you this stuff because they want you to be an affiliate, so you constantly sell their products. They don't want to teach you this stuff. So they want you to constantly be an affiliate. And again, that's why this is very, very different. And again, very, very, very exciting.
Yeah, exactly, man. So what we'll do on this webinar is we're going to actually, let's open the box. Should we open the box, Richie? All right. Well, there you go. There's the box. We're a little hesitant in getting this shown, but we want to show you a little bit of an example, two different things, okay? To the right, you're going to see my ClickBank accounts, and that's plural, okay? That's for the last 45 days there. Now, you see how it says account nickname there next to the sales? And for people who can't see that, look, I'll try to help you. This is what I try to do in coaching calls as well. At the top, you see the word typical? Well, below there, you're going to see this little gray thing. It says sales by account, last 45 days. And then you're going to see account nickname, and then you're going to see sales. So below account nickname, you see all those blurred out red IDs. And I blurred them out, of course, because if my competitors are watching this video, they learn what my ID is and all that type of stuff. So we blurred it out, but as you can see there, it says account nickname. And so all of those are different ClickBank accounts, and they're all sorts of different types of ClickBank accounts. Now you're going to see one of those accounts in the last 45 days. You see that it says $184,000. All right, and that's in a 6-week period. You're also going to see little accounts, ones that only made $242 or $108, etc. Then you see bigger ones. You see a $39,000 account for 6 weeks. You see one that did $1,200 in 6 weeks. You see one that did $1,600 in 6 weeks, and $12,000. And at the bottom, there's the total, $288,000 in 45 days. Okay. Now here's the cool thing. You see the big red circled congratulations to the winner screenshot over to the left. That's an example of an auction that I did where there was 10 bids and it sold for $238,000. Now that was a while ago when I did that, but it's a great example of what can happen when you have an asset. When you have an asset, you can basically flip that asset. So I've always made sure not to put all my eggs in one basket. Of course, having these awesome revenue generators. As you can see with my ClickBank screenshot with all those different ClickBank accounts, that's awesome. But to the left, it's always great to get that bonus where you just flip one. And then you're kind of getting in advance. That 238,000, it represented about 14 months of what I would have made from it. But it's kind of like you go into a time machine and you get paid that advanced money, that money that you haven't even gotten yet, but you get it all at once. And that's a great way to kind of project yourself and forward the money to you ahead of time. All right. So, we basically, we wanted to tell you that these results are not typical. It's not like the type of thing where you're going to be able to turn on a computer tomorrow and all of a sudden, hey, I went on the webinar with Jamie and I learned a lot and I'm going to be making $184,000 from one ClickBank account in the next 45 days. Of course, it doesn't work like that. But, I don't really want to at the same time, I don't want to make a hard left because, of course, when I first started, it was pretty cool. We're talking 2 months in or something. I was making a living and I quit my job. I'd already been fired, but I had this little kind of freelance gig where I was doing music for commercials from home, and I would send in the demos, and they'd pay me, $400 or something. But I was able to tell those guys, I said, sorry, you guys are really nice to me. You gave me this little freelance gig, but I'm really getting paid a lot more now. And the amount of money that I'm getting paid online, it kind of dwarfs what you guys were doing for me. So, it's nice knowing you. You know what I mean? So I don't want to make too much of a hard left and say, hey, these results are not typical. Of course, they're not typical for someone who's just starting. But at the same time, I don't want you to get discouraged and think, oh, this is impossible because, I was in a predicament one time in the beginning where I built a site. I worked really hard building this site and everything. And then during that process, I learned about affiliate marketing. I started doing affiliate marketing at the same time. And guess what? My ads on Craigslist were making more money than my actual website was making. And so that's a little bit of the inside scoop. And I hope you got a little bit out of that. We're going to move on to the next slide now, and we're going to talk about the 3 pillars of the effort killer product creation. All right. And the reason we're doing this is because those who are very, very wealthy people, they are not doing a lot of work, right? Why is that? Well, that's the only reason why you can scale. If you're doing a lot of work, you don't have time to scale. You don't have time to do more and more and more money. All right. So let's start from the beginning. Okay. Pillar 1 is the research part. All right. You ever heard of marketing research? Well, that's the pillar that you start with. And that's always a foundational task that you're going to want to do. Now, we're not talking about, hey, you're going to have to research like you're curing a disease or something for 10 years. We're talking about a good, the effort killer method encompasses the research aspect of it in 10 minutes. Okay, we're talking 10 or 12 minutes of really knowing exactly everything that you need to know about what you're going to be getting into. Without that first pillar, then the other ones are going to be a little bit more difficult. And that's why we have such a really great way of doing that first initial embarkment into your online adventure. Pillar 2, boom, you launch, okay? You're launching, not in the typical sense, when we do these big JV Zoo launches, but you're like, hey, I've done enough thinking, here we go. And you build, it's like you're constructing that structure, okay? And you're now starting to produce. This is the production part of it, okay? And then after you're done with producing everything, you are going to jump into the marketing part of it, the traffic part of it. And the way we've put it here is the releasing, okay? You're going to be releasing your product to the masses the same way as a book publisher. All of a sudden, all right, now the book's in stores, okay? We do it a little bit differently here where we're not, hey, can I get my book into your store? It's not really like that. It's more like you are the artist, okay? You're like the artist who puts their song on iTunes. Does that make sense? And so, again, it's intellectual property. It's digital products. So you don't need anything like that. But that is the whole method. It goes through those 3 pillars. People ask, what are the 3 steps? Pillar 1 is the research. Pillar 2 is creating. And then pillar 3 is going to be packaging and releasing. It is the marketing, it's the traffic, it's all of the above. Okay, it's like when put it this way, there's like the 3 steps to anything in life, and it kind of rings true with this as well.
It's quite interesting, James. A lot of people in the comments are saying that can't be it. It can't be that simple. And it really is. It really is. And the way Jamie puts it across is, you've got to keep it simple. I think where people may go wrong is they overcomplicate it. It is that simple. There's no Jamie. It's just literally those 3 steps.
Yeah, and I love communicating, and I love helping people identify and say, "Oh, I got it," and that light bulb goes off. A lot of the time, that first step, another word for it is your outline. Like if you're going to build a paper mache horse, right? The first step is going to be like kind of sculpting that chicken wire together. And that's the hardest part, right? That's kind of like where you can't make a mistake. But once you're done with that chicken wire, you're going to plaster the paper mache over it, and then you're going to paint it. That's the pillar 2. And then the pillar 3 is, now let's show off our paper mache horse, and we're going to put it into a museum or something, okay? It's the same thing. Everything in life is like that. Step 1, step 2, step 3, okay? And I hope that makes a lot of sense to everybody because this is very exciting. I'm very excited. And so now let's reiterate, let's really jump in and kind of detail it for you and, paint a perfect structured picture of what this pillar 3 looks like, okay? The first aspect to pillar 3 is, of course, you have the traffic, right? Everyone says, where do you get free traffic? Well, nowadays, traffic is really well oiled on the internet. Like if you want to get really good targeted traffic, you have total control over it. And you also have a lot of good safeguards that are going to help you from, having a bad experience. And so the traffic is people off of the internet. The traffic come to your free offer, as you can see. And then from the free offer, a couple things are going to happen. It's going to give them ability to move on down to the bargain offer. But at the same time, as you see, there's an arrow there that shows, let's not forget, let's have some follow-ups. Okay? Email follow-ups, baby. Bam. All right. And that way we are really cementing our grip on our position in the industry. Okay. The traffic, the people, they're coming. It's like a bus driving by a restaurant. You got your sign out and you want people to come and eat at your restaurant, right? It's a bus of people. An owner of a restaurant who's had a slow day, you see a bus of people come up, a whole bunch of hungry people. Of course, you're in the money, right? The same thing on the internet. Well, people are going to hit that free offer. They're very, very exciting. That's the reason why the traffic did click somewhere and ended up at your free offer. But now what you got to do is a couple things. You've got to sell them a dessert. You've got to keep them coming to that restaurant, right? You see what I'm saying? So the way we keep them coming to our money generator is using that email delivery and the follow-up. Now, there's a little bit of a science to that, right? There's a lot of room for error if you're not hanging with me. And we're going to show you how to make sure that you really get results right from that second tier in that pillar. And then after they exit the free offer, they're going to be getting follow-ups, right? You have a good chance of making some money from the type of follow-ups that we do. And then they're going to end up on a bargain offer, okay? That's when we start to get into the big monies. And then a couple things happen from there as well. They get a premium follow-up, okay? Now it's like, congratulations, you've moved on and you've gotten in. And this, we're serious. This is a little bit more serious than what you've seen before. And then after that bargain offer, you're going to end up into what we like to call the big balls offer, okay? That's the 5X, all right? 5X, baby. We do it like that. And then there's going to be, you know what? Oh, I'm not interested in that 5X. Well, then there's a downsell, all right? You get the 2X, okay? Now, guys, if you're getting a little confused with those numbers, don't worry, because at the end of the webinar, you're going to be like, 2X is the best. I'm making $5,000 a day. It's that type of thing. You're going to love it. Everything that we go over from now until the end of this is you're going to have this illustrated in your mind. You're going to be like, wow, what did they do? Did they hypnotize me into a stealth money making machine on the internet? Yes, exactly. And it's all in that 2X, all right? If you've asked anybody, look, you're going to get a bunch of 5X, boom, you know what I mean? Like 1,000. But we do that 2X so ethically. Your customers are going to love you. You're not going to have any of these traditional problems that you've had before. And then, of course, you're into the M, okay? And so we're very, very excited to start to further illustrate you. But before we get into the next big steps of this game, hit us up in the questions box. Let us know what you're thinking. And Jan says that she's very familiar with all this stuff. I mean, you know, this is the great thing about what we're doing here with you guys is you guys are so professional and you're so advanced. And I would say that I've taught a lot of people in my day, and since I started off doing Domainer Elite in 2015. I have to say my clientele, they made me a better teacher. They've really given me a run for my money, which has made me a better marketer as well. So I thank you all, and thank you for that, Jan. So look, let's talk a little bit about something that you guys have always asked me about. Everyone's always loving to ask me, hey, can you give me some examples of how all these students that you have are doing so well online? And we have some videos here. I don't know if they're working, but this is a great example. Terry reminds me a lot of my mom. She looks a lot like my mom, and she has a horse ranch. And so when she came to me originally, she wanted to learn how to do digital products. She was successful, had this horse ranch, and I think she also did hippotherapy for disabled kids, and they'd ride the horse and everything. But I'd really like to talk about what's the word for she's very similar to a lot of you guys, right? Of course, we hear on the internet, and you see a lot of the gurus, bring this up, how there's a lot of sob stories and stuff. I don't really see sob stories. I see people who are very successful in brick and mortar businesses and doing their thing, but they're just it's driving them nuts. They have to deal with clients, and they have to, they have to deal with politics and banks and stuff like that. And it's always like the way that digital marketing is because the internet is so new, and if you're on the cusp of technology, if you're on the frontier or whatnot, a new frontier, so to speak, right? It's kind of like a secret weapon where you don't have overhead, you don't have all wholesale issues and stuff like that, and that's why this model is so appealing to people. And Terry was one of them. So what happened was she ended up doing pet-related products and horse-related products. And she became very, very successful on Kindle. I don't know if you guys know a lot about Amazon Kindle, but she makes a full-time living now with Kindle. And, it's attributed to, I would say the teaching that I did with her was very easy. I really didn't have to do much to get her really selling her books and being able to write books very quickly. So that's a little bit of a different model than you might have heard of before. We don't really talk about that type of publishing a lot, but I don't know if you guys have ever tried it, but just for this sake of argument, man, the Kindle books are pretty easy to do because it's like 25 cents a page or something. So if you sell a book for $1 or $2 or $5, it doesn't really have to be very long. It could be like a little coffee table book or somewhat. So yeah, we wanted to talk about her a little bit. You probably never heard about that story with how she really, ran with it and everything. And then we've got a couple guys here. These are guys that came in through those blasts that I send out to the list. I say, hey guys, we need to know your stories. Tell us, don't be shy. And so these were some of the ones that came in. We had Rashid. He did $8,000 very quickly out of his apartment in Baltimore. And then we had Derek from the Netherlands. All right. Derek is funny because, and I wish that video worked, Richie, because that's a great example of someone who did huge. I used some of his examples as well with his ClickBank account. He went straight into the internet marketing niche and started doing reviews on internet marketing products. And there's another great example of how all these clients of mine are very different. They use different business models. We're very, very eclectic here. We don't just do one business model. And so let's reiterate, Terry was doing Kindle, and then Rashid is doing CPA marketing as an affiliate. And Derek is doing internet marketing, reviews of internet marketing products. And he's really killing it with ClickBank, all the internet marketing products on there. And he has such a great testimonial. In this testimonial in this video here, he was talking about how in Holland, where he's from, all of the guys over there, they have like a nickname for me, which is a pretty funny nickname. It's like the Guru Killer or something like that. What does he say in that video? He's like the worst nightmare on Guru Street or something like that. Pretty funny. So yeah, that's Terry, Rashid, and Derek. Do we have any others? Let's see. Let's take a look at some of the other ones here. Well, that's a video where I interview Matthew Neer. You probably heard of him, and he does $1 million a year. Now, the way I met him was he bought a product I put out. It was a software product, and it was in the marketing niche. It was for it's a little bit more business to business back then, but that one had all to do with utilizing the a little bit of SEO and PPC combined. They're using PPC to start off your search engine results, and it was called Income Times 10. So Matthew bought this product that I had on ClickBank. I believe it was like 2011 or something. Before you know it, Matthew's in those webinars. I always saw his name in the webinars in the questions box. He was always very enthusiastic and positive. And before you know it, you probably heard of his name now. He's teaching. He's putting out software products. He had a product that ranks videos for you. It was a top seller, I believe, on Warrior Plus, and he does over $1 million a year now. He travels the world. He does every country. He lives in every country for 3 months, and then he just travels. He's a young guy. He used to be a skateboarder, and I don't know if you've ever seen this video, but it's pretty important. I think you should watch it because you get a lot out of it. All right, you could probably find it on my YouTube channel too. So yeah. Also, this is a picture of a video that we did. We chronicled where I had students of mine and students from all walks of life. We're not talking about I chose who the students were, but it was a pay to play, and people came to my house, and they came for a week, and they stayed in a hotel. But every day they'd come at 7 o'clock in the morning, and they'd leave around 7 o'clock at night. We do 12 hours a day. It was like boot camp. And by the end of the week, we had all sorts of things. We had 4 products on ClickBank. We had sales coming in. One of my students was ranking. I showed him how to rank using YouTube Live. We documented and filmed the entire thing. You guys have probably seen that. It was Jamie Lewis Academy. And, that was a great example of really straight up newbies. It's a shame that the gurus complicate things so much because they want you to keep coming back to them. But there's a pretty simple process. I have to say it was a lot of fun. So that's what you guys probably. I don't know if you haven't seen that in a while because I don't really do a lot of publishing of all the stuff that pours into my box. But I do get a lot of awesome emails from you guys who've attended the classes, and now you're doing really great stuff. And so we wanted to talk a little bit about that today. And I hope some of my insight has shown you how you're no different than these people who have done big things online. It's just knowing what to do and what not to do, right? So in our experience, you can achieve success in 2 ways. Number one, you can do it yourself, right? You can learn from mistakes and keep grinding away, plodding along in the dark, the same way that I had done in the beginning, And the only thing with that is that you're going to be like a Greek tragedy. Is that the word for it? It's kind of like it's a disaster. You're going to be wasting a lot of time, and it's very sad. It's a sad thing. The second thing is that you can get a mentor and you can avoid all of those things. You can, sure, write a list of what not to do. But you be taught step by step while being held accountable and enjoying an ever growing group of elite students. All right. And, those words are very serious. They're very, I think the way we've presented that is very, very accurate. And that's what we really, really strive to do with you. So, look, what we want to do next is we're going to answer some questions straight here on the webinar. But, we'd like you to do next is if you're interested in becoming one of those success stories, you're going to want to take a trip to this URL right here. And we want you to type this in that's the first step for anyone who hasn't done online marketing, or better yet, haven't even been online. That's one of the first things you're going to have to do. And you're going to have to do it quick too, because it's going to fill up. So make sure to go to domainerelite.com/devapp.php and fill out that form very honestly. Let me know, that you are a serious professional. You don't need to be, Coca-Cola or Walmart, but you definitely need to hold yourself out as a professional. We're gonna want to work with positive and, I would say very enthusiastic people, just like Matthew Neer. If you look, it's funny to see it from the back, going from the future and then going back in the past, right? If I look, let's look at Matthew Neer now. He's doing 7 figures a year. Now, what was he doing when he first started? I'll tell you what that questions box looked like. He was excited. He was the nicest guy. He was attentive and he listened and he asked good questions and he was focused and he had his priorities straight. Okay. So for instance, when you fill out that app, you're going to see questions where it's going to really show us where your priorities lie. Okay. We know that, we know how people are because we're people. We're all the same. We're human beings. And every month we have priorities. All right. For instance, I'll give you an example. Where you spend your money, right? What type of food do you eat? Do you eat at a fancy restaurant or do you eat at McDonald's every day? If health isn't a priority, you probably eat at McDonald's every day. If you live in the East Coast, or if you don't live down in Florida or Texas or somewhere real hot, you're probably going to have a really hefty oil bill, or at least have to buy wood for your wood burning stove. You have priorities, okay? You're going to spend money on things to keep you alive. You have to think of it that way. Anything that'll keep you alive is a priority, okay? For your kids, for your family. And that's what we want to see in that, in the app in order to work with you. If we see something in the app where it shows that you don't know what your priorities are, it's going to be I'm just honestly ahead of time to save us both some time. It's not going to work. I don't think, you'd be cut out for this, because that's all it really has to do with. It rings true when you're building an online campaign, you're looking through keywords. If your priorities aren't straight, then it's going to be very difficult to communicate and to make sure that things get done. Okay, so that's a good foundational approach, is to make sure that you have your priorities, and this is a very, very important priority to you. And that's what we want to see. We want to see that, this is just as important as, putting those logs in your wood stove to heat your house. Okay, so you don't freeze to death. Online business is very, very, very important, and it's a true test. We don't mean to put that, hey, you're gonna have to test. We're gonna test you right now and all that, but it is pretty important, and we hope you like the experience filling it out. And so, what do you think, Richie? What are your thoughts?
Excuse me, just a bit of a coughing for there. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, guys, basically what Jamie's looking for is his next success story. So he's only looking to take on a handful of people. Now, we get a huge amount of applications every time Jamie does decide to do this. And he's only looking for a specific kind of person to coach, because he only wants to create a success story. Okay, so essentially what we're saying is, obviously, if you want to be considered to be considered to work with Jamie, and then please do complete that application form. It doesn't matter if you're a beginner. It doesn't matter if you're really advanced. Obviously, please only do fill out that form if you're serious about investing in yourself and investing within your business and working with Jamie in a step-by-step fashion. Now we've already had a couple of questions in. So basically, a couple of people saying, do I need to be an expert? So why don't you answer these questions, Jamie? Probably come that from you.
You need to be an expert. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, you don't need to be an expert at first. I really do feel like the things that I say are very, very critiqued, and they're so solidified over time where I really know what I'm talking about, guys. The priority thing is so important. I have friends, I have people that I see, okay, in everyday life. And some people have their what together, and some people don't. Some people are miserable. They've got it all mixed up. They think they don't understand why they're in this situation they are, and they're upset and they're unhappy, and um, for whatever reason. And you know what the reason is they were never taught what their priorities should be. You know what I mean? And your own business, your own power. Having that own power, and having that leverage, and being able to not take on an exclusive job is so important. And so you don't need to be an expert at marketing first. You don't need to be an expert at publishing or doing any of these things. But it's more of like, in that 10 minutes, even in the 10 minutes that you're working, if you do 10 minutes a day, um, how are you paying attention? How are you being attentive and doing what you just learned in that video? And if it's a high priority for you to do these types of numbers, then you will do it. It's very, very simple. You either do the video, or you post the ad, or you don't. You know what I mean? And if you post it and it doesn't work or something, you diagnose the problem the same way as when you're trying to build something. Or you don't say to yourself, "Oh, I need help. I need help building this or something." No, if you have a problem or you don't know how to do something, you learn how to do that really quickly, and then you finish up that part of the problem. And it's a business online is an ongoing project. So of
Yeah.
course, that ongoing project, yields results, but that's the most important thing, I think. And rather than kicking yourself or giving yourself a hard time, oh, I'm not an expert, I don't know that don't have a defeatist mentality. Make sure that you have your priorities straight. Everyone learns. Everyone is constantly learning. I'm constantly learning. But that's the best piece of advice I could muster for you.
Absolutely, absolutely. I see Derek's asking what happens after we fill out the form. Basically, what will happen is Jamie will actually handpick the applications that he wants to take through to the next stage himself. He goes through every single one with a fine tooth comb, and then he'll give them to me. What I'll do is I'll give you a call, book you in for a strategy session, just you and me. Usually takes me about an hour, just so we can really identify exactly what you need help with, where you're up to within your business, and just have a sort of free strategy session, and then see obviously if this is going to be a good fit and if it's going to be a good match to work with Jamie. I can see people there. Can't Jamie do the call? The answer is no. He's a coach. Okay, so he'll be busy coaching clients. So I'll be the one doing the call. Okay, so I'm very nice, so please do, please do fill in that form. And this is really, your time. It's absolutely your time. I'll be very, very sort of honest with you. It's not for everyone. I'll be honest, it's not for everyone. However, we've never had anyone that hasn't taken action, that hasn't got results. And again, I don't want to blow just Jamie's ego up too high, but he's an incredibly talented coach. And has a huge amount of success stories, which really do sort of speak for themselves. And it's an absolute pleasure to be able to offer this out there again. I can see another question. Do we have to create products, or what exactly would the process be?
Well, there's a few different ways to obtain assets, guys. Okay, this is great news for you. You're going to love this little piece of advice I'm going to give. Let me go over three different applications. All right, we'll talk YouTube, and then we'll talk the Kindle, and then we'll talk to ClickBank. Okay? So first of all, with YouTube, did you know that a YouTube channel or a YouTube video could be an asset? It could be an amazing one. Now, right there and then, okay, you don't need to create. You can also barter, partner, rent, or buy YouTube accounts. You have all those different methods of obtaining a YouTube account that you didn't even do. You didn't even do the videos, but you got the traffic now. And we're not going to give away everything, of course, for free, but there's some good free information right here. Check this out. When you approach someone who has a YouTube video, if they're already monetizing it, it's going to be harder for you to obtain that video. But the key is to find YouTube videos that are in a niche but aren't monetized yet. And there's certain keywords that you use that I know, by memory or whatnot. In any niche, any combination using secondary words, in other words, long tail keywords, where you're going to be able to find YouTube channels and YouTube accounts that have 500,000 views or 1 million views, big views, guys, and they're not monetized because it's that real sweet spot. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about the Kindle thing. With Kindle, of course, you have you have a couple of those options, right? You have the barter thing, you have the partner thing, and then you have the creation thing. You also have the buy option as well, where you're either buying a book that already exists, or you're hiring someone to help you fill in an outline. Those outlines, once you have the outline for it, and you have that recipe for creating an amazing outline, it makes your assembly line, so to speak, just optimized. And we're talking like it's the equivalent of like having a cybernetic partner who is a robot who's just boom, 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 boom. It's just like, oh my god, like those movies where you see you build a prototype and you hand it off to your robot, and you walk in, you check on them 4 hours later, you're like, what the hell? The whole room is filled with duplicates of the prototype. So it's similar to that, That's a great way to get Kindle going. And then when it comes to ClickBank, now instead of, we were talking about, YouTube, there's 4 different options for you there, depending on your budget, time frame, etc., or how much you want to work. And then you have the Kindle, the same thing. There's, 3 or 4 options on how to do that. When it comes to ClickBank, you've got like 20 different ways of doing it. And the reason I bring them up is because this webinar is called The Effort Killer. All right. So the idea is with ClickBank products are the hardest things to do, right? You're thinking, oh my God, it's going to be so difficult there's all those, you're going to need a sales page, JV page, product, customer service, Every one of those aspects of your ClickBank product can be easily automated and leveraged. The same as if you were an arbitrage man. All right, if you're doing arbitrage, if anyone here has done Forex or done CPA to PPC to CPA or anything like that, same thing can be done with publishing multiple products on ClickBank. I know because I've got over 40 ClickBank accounts that bring in income. Okay, so those are a little bit of the little recipes over time tested stuff, and then when we delve in, you say, all right, well, you know what, I don't have a budget, but I really have a little bit of time. Then, we're like, all right, well, now here are our candidates. And then it's showtime. I hope that makes sense. I hope I answered your question. I think that was dynamite.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you. So if you go ahead guys, go to domainaelite.com/DEVAPP _PHP. Are there any other questions for Jamie? Can you see any other questions in the chat box there, Jamie?
Well, I'm seeing a lot of awesome exclamations and excitement and stuff. A lot of like that last thing, a lot of people are very excited and they want to try some of that stuff. And that's what I love to do. I mean, that's just the tip of the iceberg, guys. I mean, once we start working together and we're on the phone, the first phone call, we're talking about yourself. We're talking about like what exactly we're going to be getting into. I get to know a little bit about you so I can kind of prescribe, the method of moving forward. And then I give you some homework. And by the second call, you've done a little bit with that homework, and it's not that hard. And you give me what you got, and then and that's when things really solidify. And then at that point I can look at it and be like, look, this is what you did wrong, fix that. And light bulbs go off. You know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to working
Absolutely.
with the next series of students who are going to probably be our best success stories ever, because that's the way things go here. Just like compounding success, you know. So every quarter of the year we do this, and then we start to see bigger and better success stories because of all the new resources and all the new knowledge that I'm getting. I'm kind of pass it on to you, and that's what I get great satisfaction out of that. It makes my life complete to see passing the torch to a student and seeing them do great things. So yeah,
That's why you do it, isn't it? That's why you do it these days, isn't it? I've noticed.
yeah, exactly. So it was great being with you guys today. I hope you got a lot out of this, and hopefully we told you a little bit about the process and how to make sure that you are a good candidate. Just keep that in mind, and then of course when Richie books the session with you, make sure not to miss that strategy session, because Richie does not call people back and stuff. He's a very busy man, as you can see. He's busy doing $2 million every 3 years. So guys, make sure that you make your strategy session. Make sure you fill out that app to the best of your ability. Be very honest with us. No swindlers, no funny manipulative stuff, please. All right, I say that with love. And we're gonna get down. All right, we're gonna get down. And we're gonna make things happen, Texas style.
Absolutely. Thanks very much, guys. Thanks, Jamie. Cheers.